Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to your daily fix with NFA OFC. It is Monday, March 4th or Tuesday, March 5th, GM, GE, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to a special edition called How to Cup and Handle, because that seems to be all I can find and it's everywhere. Today, of course, money flow cycle, which is the most important, gives us a heads up on how the money is moving in the market so we can make better, more educated decisions, people. Dominance, market cap dominance, Bitcoin and ETH. And then I get to choose what we're doing today. I've been looking over the last few days as things are moving, and I am going to make some choices, which means I'm also going to vape today, and you guys will have to deal. Let's get Pope out here, and I'm going to talk about hey buddy,
You're gonna vape on telly? I love it.
I'm going to put my choices up on here.
Right. What an exciting time going on. I've learned some lessons, been going through some stuff, been strategizing. Excited to talk about it as we continue. As I always say, Mondays are my favorite because we can kind of look at what happened, how we kind of called the last little while, and then now we're planning, what does this week look like? We're using our tools, our strategies to predict the weather for the week. What's going to happen in crypto? And that's how we use the money flow cycle and why we look at it so much in everything. And I love when our squiggles and lines line up. We're doing good. We're having these healthy retracements still. We've broken this weekly consolidation box. When we see this purple rectangle, we know it's our weekly consolidation. We have 5 days left in it. Will we hold above it and then take off to the 2.8? All indications right now are hell yeah. Look at this. You don't get more spread and off to the races than these right here. And yeah, we're going to have retracements. Yes, there will be some pullbacks. That is a lot of money injected. If we go from the low of the wick to just right now here today, 981.19 billion, almost a trillion, almost double of where we've been at. It's been awesome. And we've had pullbacks, and yeah, greed is firing because things are, you can't look in the Twitter sphere of the Web3 sphere of Twitter, TikTok, whatever social media you're on, and everybody's finally preaching bull because they're seeing the big returns. I mean, let's be honest, Bitcoin's almost at its all-time high, and we're not really seeing a lot of discussion on that. Supreme made a good point about that in our Discord. And we can see that our daily resistance that we chopped out, I don't even know how long ago. Where'd you go?
Are we gonna focus on the weekly, or are we gonna hang out in the daily at all?
Oh, we're gonna zoom in.
Sweet. Thank you.
We can see that we're still on target for where we want to be. Daily. Boom, one day. Oh, we're having a little bit of pullback. Makes sense. And we're like all the way down in the middle. And we're hovering this 2.456 with lots of room to go. And this is if you're playing, you want to get in, get out, you're not watching the dailies. You got to be on lower time frames now. If you're playing, I'm going to buy, throw some money in, and just hold, and you have no time for trading, just buy when you see a red and hold. It's going to literally be that simple right now. You don't need to overcomplicate this. When alts get a wipe, when the money does come out, they will get punished. And that's big percentages that you're seeing come in that leave at the same time. But even on the 4-hour, we always see these healthy retracements, maybe some consolidation. This is where we just want to see some consolidation. Just mellow out a bit and let's go. It's the beginning of the week. It's beautiful. We're primed. We're ready. On the smaller time frames, you can start to see, but doesn't mean it's curling. Just because it gets closer, it means less price action. It's when it goes fast curl, then we know it's moving fast. And there seems reasonable. And we can go back and look. Oh, I took the drawings off. That's why. We know we just broke it. But we're in that area right now of our total market cap where it rockets through. Dominance has been interesting. This may have hurt some people over the last little whiles. Panic.
Dominance to me is still a little bit of a wild card in terms of how to implement it in my information, adding to other things. It just seems a little. Does that make sense?
It's making sense of shorting at first, the mindset of it, and I understand that because I believe it does for everybody. And wanting something to go down while the other goes up is more money, and how it flows together. Because what happens if it stays the same and goes up or goes down, or these things.
That's exactly it, because it's just kind of something that you can check in with. But if it's going, sometimes it's all going up and it's all working out, and it comes down, and it's it's not one of the last things that I look at, but I can't take it to the bank yet.
Yeah, and right now we're gonna start to see, we're seeing some probably good entries on alts. Lots of money left the alts, and now it's starting to flow back in. Is what this is saying. As long as our market cap stays in the same areas, and then you can start watching on your crypto bubbles or whatever trades you're in to see what's actually been happening. Bitcoin, I mean, we said we wanted to see two situations with Bitcoin. Just like we talked about a minute ago, we said we either wanted to see things consolidate, and it was going to be fighting this daily in here, or it was going to rush up and get to the 67,402.0 set. Well, we're about $500 off. Not bad. And why is because we know in these spaces between our consolidations that it rushes fast. We had healthy amounts on the daily of consolidation here. 1, 2, 3, 4. In a bull market for 4 days of consolidation in this zone, now we're contesting this zone.
Could this be like a head and shoulders type situation we've got right there? Like half of one?
Sure. Yes. No. I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at, to be honest. Hold on. Because
everything that's in the critical fear and greed right now. Yeah, like that whole thing up there.
If it comes right back down here and goes to here, sure. No, not in my opinion. So
okay, cool. Move on.
Here to let's just start again, because we're in uncharted territory with Bitcoin. All right.
Oh, and America, if my words were that powerful, holy, could take on the world. She said, don't jinx it.
here we are. And we were talking about this last week, like, not and just mentioned it quickly earlier, like, not many people are talking like, "Hello, we're here right now."
Space Boy said it looks like a giant cup.
Yeah, which would make sense for some retracement. What are we on daily? All-time high. I mean, it's an ugly one. This one here is more the cup, right? Because we're going here to here. I mean, sure, we need to come down probably into these areas. And I'm not here to be doom and gloom, but this is one of the things I've been looking at right now, and I've been talking about is I think there is a tracement coming. Everybody's exciting, you know. Bitcoin's going to 100 grand. Not saying it's not. Not saying that at all. I just don't think it's doing it tomorrow.
Well, you and I were talking today about this cup and handle situation. And you were talking to me like if it goes up further than this uncharted territory and you have nothing to kind of compare it to from before, there's that wild card as well.
Absolutely. Okay. So here's a daily support and resistance here. And the reason I'm using it high here before we have a down. She's going down, down, down. So it's like I said, it's ugly in that point, but we get to here and then we have our pull down, and then that there is technically your cup and handle formation. Now we've rocketed through this section and we're contesting with an all-time high right here.
I'm just going to ask this question because I kind of answered it, but I don't know if I'm right, so I'm going to throw it out there. Is there a time frame on the cup and handle, meaning weeks versus months formation? And I said I think you can find them on all time frames.
All time frames.
Yeah.
But you got to compare your TA of time frame to time frame. You can't go, oh, it's on this time frame, and then you want to understand what's happening on a bird's eye view. Start out. Where's the direction? Where's the momentum? Where's the money flow? And then zoom in. And the more you zoom in, you're going to find way more of these patterns within them. It's like you hear me say a rectangle within a rectangle within a rectangle within a rectangle.
Well, and I'm really glad that you're saying that because that's kind of what a few of my coins really are focusing on right now about zooming out, finding these patterns and looking at the ones inside. So that's great.
So on a daily right now, I mean, this is one big ugly cup. Just one big ugly cup. We know price, and this is what we were talking about in that beautiful drawing we have there earlier. We know price is never going straight down or straight up. It's always this kind of a thing, right? It's not pretty when it does it, but if it then follows the general suit, we kind of give it these names to patterns that we can recognize. And that's why earlier when we first started, we were looking for capitulation. You know, we were looking for these moments where we could get this breakout. Now, Bitcoin happened obviously in different points, but I think you get my point. Now on the daily, as we said, we're in these uncharted areas. We don't have any evidence of the past of anything above where we are. Now we can start getting into fib, we can start with speculation, and we use our tools. It makes sense if we've had this much up. %73%, 38 days.
Now I wish I didn't sell my Bitcoin.
You know, I remember you made fun of me. I told you when I just gave it to you in Bitcoin and said, hold
Yep.
this.
Yep.
Anyways, we'll leave that one alone. So this is kind of what I want to see right here. Another one of these flag formations. All right, and then, right. If we could keep doing this, gradually stepping up, that's healthy. That's healthy growth. And that's what we've been doing. This one was a little longer. This was still disbelief stage, and but somewhere in here, I think we may have a little bit of a pullback. But our indicators on the weekly and the daily aren't telling us that yet. But what we do know about this market is it can happen like that. And that's why big picture I like looking at on the daily. When I'm trading, I'm really on the lower time frames of watching the money flow and where I think it's going. Right now, I'm not here to say we're going in all these different directions with Bitcoin. I want to be mindful of time because I know we're going to look at a few other entries and some hunts and stuff. But yeah, we could fib this and see where we're off to. There's tons of speculation and things out there. This is what we want to see. We want to get up. Can it go to 100,000? Absolutely. Going to go more than that? Absolutely. It's not can it. It's how do we do it? If it's healthy, if it's sustainable, we can continue trading within it and building. If it's going straight up, it's coming straight down. Take your money and run. Right? And don't get caught up in echo chambers. We look at the data. What is the data in this case? The money flow from into the market, from into Bitcoin, from into the alts. And then half the other part of that strategy is finding these good projects, buying them on red days, and forgetting about them. The other part is to learn how to trade and ride these ebbs and flows. It's been a gas. We're show number 40. We've been fucking knocking it. I've been having fun. Hope you have been.
I'm having a great time.
Well, it's definitely becoming much more of our adventure, what we're learning together. ETH is, can we really? It's been doing everything we've said we've wanted it to do. It's even got to the highest point where we thought it would get to, where it's hovering right now at that 36.25.
I think it's time for some new squiggles on that bad boy.
It's been so
we can do it tomorrow.
Day one. Same thing. It makes sense to me. We know this gold line, if you've been following, is a weekly support or resistance. We haven't gone up. We haven't been over the fours. We're getting close to our all-time high soon. Makes sense. We'll have a little curl over. Probably may pull back down into this 35.17 somewhere in here before we start to contest our all-time highs. So this is where we're going to start fighting. And I've been saying ETH hasn't had its day. I've been miserable with ETH all day today. I won't lie about that. Spent a lot of money in gas moving stuff around today. Uh, so you're welcome, miners, but I can't complain. I mean, money's money, profit's profit. It's been great. But this is where we're looking at. ETH is still on course to exactly what we want. As we always say, the money coming in, the flow, will determine these little ups and downs. And we'll go a little more into ETH here soon. I want to look at ETH's been just doing these little. That's exactly what it's going to continue, right? Now we're looking for these better positions. How do we hunt when we have all these cup and handles? How do you hunt when everything's pumping? It feels like, where do I get in? Did I miss that pump? I go over here. Oh, now that's pumping. And then I go over there. Now that and you get stuck chasing. And that's why it's also very important to have conviction in projects you believe in, buy them when they're on red days, depressed, on sale, whatever you want to call it, and hold them. And then we use our technical analysis and our skills to find entries like all the ones we've been always walking through on the show. And Cosmos was just added recently, and we're not going to go through every one. We've had some now that are over hundreds of percent from the initial hunt. AGIX, prime example. But Cosmos, with even the bull, we gave you multiple entries, and it's still taking off. And we were looking for this cup and handle formation. A lot of these entries that you are seeing where we were trying to walk up, or Casper, where we walked down, now we're walking up, it's finalizing this cup and handle formation. It's still saying we have legs to run. Doesn't mean that there's not money there. Doesn't mean that's the best place to make money right now. I'd rather find a trade where we're still getting down in here area versus getting in where hopefully we get in before it starts to curl again. Less opportunity here, more opportunity in these curls that I always talk about, the bellies of the bears, the micro bears. This is what I'm always looking for. All right. And when we zoomed in, our first entry hit. Neither of these two did. We always said this was a joke of an entry, but it had worst case scenario, the potential, if the money rapidly left, which it looked like it did for a while, you might get in this area, which would have been a great buy. You didn't. But if you still took our first entry, just rough, we'll go there to, still 24. And we've had a ton of these. Phantom has been great. Another prime example. I left this on. This is what we talked about, what we were looking for, a cup and handle on the last show. This was our entry, or the last time we looked at it. This was our entry, this gold dot. And we were just playing it to get it into here, which we talked about was the other side and goes down. Well, we also know that we listen to what our indicators are saying. Hot damn, why would you get out from where our entry was? If this is where our target was, and we can see at this point, we've still got nothing to do but run. Just by listening to the indicators, you made another 17% in less than a day if you rode it all the way up even more. And I'm willing to bet if we drop a line, funny how that has such a different meaning now. If we drop a line here and we go left, it's going to be support and resistance somewhere in this past. I would say a pretty major one. Like, can't tell you, I haven't looked at this. I haven't looked all day. I've been busy managing wallets and starting a new strategy of looking at what's out there. And these are just kind of the things that play out. But this started, I mean, okay, a month ago. $77.84%, 27 days. That's just one of our calls. We're going to have some fun. We haven't seen anything yet. But it's the strategy. It's the finding these entries. It's the where's the money flowing. And then when we find them, we know we find a bunch. What are the best odds for the return in those entries? What are the more likelihoods of the higher return? Smart money, patience, strategy. Now, it's easy to look good in a bull. I'm not going to lie. You can pretty much buy anything and just hold it, right? But all this works in any market. And same with these tools. And we've talked about how you can short, how you can long. We've done it. We've shown you. It's been great. Our entry was here to current day. Right now, 39.29. Is it as good as the last? No, but they're not all going to be hundreds of stuff. This is still smart money. And we got multiple entries and multiple take profit points that we talked about. And you could have more than stacked that. If you just held it, you're still killing it. But if you get a little weak in the knees with up and down and seeing numbers, look at these wicks and these movements in a day. Not built for the faint-hearted. And that's where emotion becomes so much a part of this game. And we were talking about this on the Discord the other day. Like, yeah, you do this in short stints, it wears you out a bit. Absolutely. Because you can start making money in these massive swings. And you got to manage the wins just as much as you got to manage the losses. Absolutely. So, I mean, there's the preachy. There's the three that we've been mostly talking about lately. You said you had some you found and that you had questions about. I'm all eyes for looking at some fresh stuff.
Well, I mean, hey, Quan. Anna America just asked a question in referring to Kasuma. So do you want me to ask that?
Hold on, I can pull it up right now. Would you consider a retrace entry on Kasuma, for instance, or just look for other coins where you find the belly, as you were saying, and stay away from the cup? That comes down to measuring like a cup or a bowl. That comes down to my bad. I'll stop playing. Kasuma. Let's have a look. It comes down to like what are we looking for in terms of returns? You know, like Kasuma got history. It's got lots to go. Some of these we've picked aren't just locked. They're not on the list because the dart landed on the list. There's a lot of potential if some of these make it to their next levels of massive dough, massive returns. We've talked about this on a few shows where we're like, oh yeah, a couple 100%, that ain't nothing. And you're like, what are we talking about? And I'm like, hello. We can find them. We can find some that have thousands of percents. Now, we always say, is it going to get to its all-time highs? Are pretty much based on its market cap. And I don't know right now if it's reasonable to say, hey, yeah, some will get to its all-time high for an 1,143% return. I don't know. I can do the math. We can look at it. We can dig into it. Don't want to do that right now. It's not the point of this is.
Supreme said Kasuma looks like a retrace. How far it can go is the question. Cups are bullish.
Yes. And then, so yeah, let's zoom in. That is a great. That's an ugly one, though. Like, I mean, that's ugly. That's fighting to make that one almost.
Would you want to move on to another cup of my finding? And
Yeah, I do. What'd you find?
well, there's a couple. There's three of them that I have. I don't know how much time we have, but
Let's see the
you and
first
I
one.
were chatting about Pepe Coin today.
Shit token.
Or I can move on to Canto as well, if you'd like. Or a little XRP. Those are my three that I really that
We'll
have
do. I mean,
tickled
I
me.
can probably have enough time to do all three. I'll leave Pepe going for last because it's a meme coin. You know, it's an old meme coin, but it's still meme coin. There is no utility behind it other than market sentiment. It's doing really well, and Supreme asked, "Do I still have bags of it?" And yeah, I do. What was the next one? XRP and what? Cello? No,
And Canto.
Canto. Let's do Canto and XRP.
While you're bringing that up, Supreme was just saying 95% of alts are on a retracement right now. It comes down to a Bitcoin hold here. If we pull back, alts are going to bleed.
And that's what I'm waiting for. Literally, to be honest, I think right now, patience, we're in uncharted territory. If you're experiencing FOMO and you have money on the line and you're just going to jump in, good luck. I don't have enough indication right now, and that's why I'm not giving a master list of, like we have in the Discord, of these are the trades I'm getting in at, these are the trades I'm getting out at yet. Because I'm still doing my DYOR. I'm looking at a lot of things. And there's a lot of greed. You know, do the critical fear and greed meter. All you hear, we're at all-time highs for Bitcoin. We're not at all-time highs for a lot of other things. And we were talking a little bit in the Discord about how that's a little strange right now in the market, because this time we have commercial adoption, not retail. Retail thinks it's a scam and it's a joke. So it's this weird dichotomy over last, but it's only a matter of time when everybody's on the same page and it ramps. But the ones that are here are thinking they understand the game a lot better than the people that have been playing this game for family generational wealth that are here to show you don't know how to play the game. And that's where understanding money flow is extremely important.
This is one of the reasons why it was so challenging for me to find stuff in the last couple of days. Just something that either has legs or indicators are showing something. And then also what I'm seeing just in general, what I'm looking at, because whereas last week I gave you a list that was like, I think I had 12 to 15 on there. Whereas this one, it was tough for me in the last couple of days to find what I found really important. Oh, you're starting on the weekly. Sick.
Because a lot of things have been pumping. A lot. I mean, we've been talking about some big money, and you've heard me say we're nowhere near over. You haven't missed anything. But we're in some uncharted territory right now, and that's usually where the highest risk comes. Usually, when high risk happens and greed happens at the same time, those that are greedy get washed. I'm willing to just kind of be in my long term hold at the moment, casually take profits and start looking and zooming out and seeing what's going on.
While you're looking at that, Supreme just said we have mean pumping and the
Yeah.
odd alts popping. Theta is on one right now.
Yeah, that is true. There's a lot of power in these memes, and there is something to be said for that. Play the market mentality. We were listening to a few things today, and Miles said, you know, even how did he word it? It's gone now, but it was one of those things where if that's where the narrative is, don't fight it. This is where we talk about the money flow. You don't fight the stream of where the money is going. If it's going in these areas, play those areas. Right?
Like you say,
But
don't fight for trades. Don't.
yeah. Kadoki on the weekly. Ooh, let's get this on the weekly.
Unfortunately, I don't have theta on my exchange that I use, which just bums me out because I really like it a lot.
Showing some strength. I mean, we're on its retest, obviously, right now. I'm going to start splitting the difference. We got it here. We have it on the wicks here. Pretty good on the wicks and bodies and here. So I would say it's a healthy support and resistance there on the weekly. Keep meaning to save that. Sorry, I'm finally going to do it. Take the time. There we are. But I didn't change the color. Anyways. This obviously right here is our retest, and then we would be off to test these areas, which would be these next ones right in here. What are we looking at to make up to these areas from our current price right now to where our first or our target would be long term? Is that how the target? So it's probably 40%, somewhere in here, roughly, just by a quick eyeball. So we're on our retest. It looks good for the direction of the market. It looks like we're trying to form a cup and handle, just like everywhere else. We wanted to here. It didn't, but wasn't the time. Maybe. Who knows? They're everywhere. I don't know. I'd just be happy with our usual steps up. Confluence, belly of the bear. This is what I love to see. We know on the weekly we're probably going to bounce around. Our wicks show us how much movement we typically have. Would make sense. We'll bounce around in this area to get a better entry. Couple of greens, wait for your next red. If you don't want to wait, this could be a good entry here to hold it all the way out. We're on the weekly. What's it saying on the daily? And this has been on my screen for a while. This would be a beautiful cup and handle formation right here. Pull back. This is what finding one, and this has been on my screen for a while now, and thought we were getting in here, and I believe I was an INJ at this time. Came back down, and now we have it. So what we're looking to do is to just ride this same thing out and get back down here. And then up to this area again. But we know, like we said, it's going to be, and that's actually a technical term for those who really want to know.
I'm going to need to know how to spell that.
Mm-hmm. It's phonetic, very much so.
Got it.
So, and we can look at these areas of, okay, these are going to be on our dailies support retracements. We've had a lot of that on the daily. We know we have a lot of green. Makes sense, probably on a lower time frame. If we're not breaking this area in the 4 hours, it's holding it. That's healthy. and a time to get in. But if it starts to go down, wait for a better entry. Come on. Oh, what happened? You might have that entry still somewhere in here, even on the 2 hour. But I wouldn't be trying to buy this, get in, get out. This would be one I'm looking at, like we were just talking about, like these others on the show that we have been discussing, where let's walk this one out. We wait for our next red candle. We don't have one yet. Coming. Nothing's green forever. And that's going to be our entry.
Can I tell you what I wrote for this?
You sure can.
I wrote Canto on the daily. We have a plus. On the weekly, we have a belly of the bear, which would be something I would keep my eyes on, and the consolidation / retracement on the 4 hour. So to me, there's movement to be happening. Again, I don't know how quick, and so I was writing that we would like maybe buy on the lower 4 hour if we were going to buy here and hold it for a little longer.
And if you're buying for holding it for this, like, say, next month, like we did on these last few trades, really like shaving that little bit now for the stress, do I get in or do I get out? Especially if you're brand new, just wait for a red candle on one time frame. Buy. It's never going to be perfect. We say this all the time. You're never going to time the bottoms. You're never going to time the tops. But if we chop that big piece in between, hello.
I'm trying to practice, though. I'm trying to practice looking at a lower timeline and finding just a slightly better entry just as a practice. But you're absolutely right. If it's something that, you're going through multiple percent to get up there.
And we can see we have all this green up, right? Lots of green up. It would make sense that we're probably going to be somewhere on the next pull down, somewhere in here. And that's where you can put if you want to stress about your entries, buy right now here today. And then for the 50 other percent of your entry cost, put a lower entry and put the other there. And then if both hit, now you've entered halfway through. But our goal is to be holding this to this area after some time. And my favorite is when they just, and they go, but we want to look at these realistically sometimes too. Theta is popping, as he says. So that was Canto. The other one was XRP, you said?
It was XRP. And then I was hanging out a little bit with ApeCoin today.
I found a bunch of ApeCoin today. That was nice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I have a couple of notes on this one, so I'm curious to see if you come up with the same thing that I came up with.
Well, I was looking at it recently, clearly. Market retracement would make sense to come back down into here. It's wanted to go. I think XRP has been delayed too for some time. It's been so slow. And it doesn't take much for it to, when it wants to go. What is the current price to our next level? 20%. 42. Yeah, everybody says there are cup and handles everywhere, but I mean, it's like when you buy a yellow sports car, and you never had a yellow car before, and then all of a sudden you start seeing them everywhere too. I mean, you still want to use your indicators and your patterns, and even on the daily, yeah, we have legs to run where we're bought. Lots of greed would make sense. A little bit of a pullback, not much. We already had some. But
I don't think this is one of my cup and handle choices. I think this was just one of my 5 choices. I didn't anticipate a cup and handle to be in this.
like long term, I think it's great. I think there's better price to get in, but we're not in a position of where we're switching. You know what I mean? We're still chasing it up. We're not in down here. We're not in a belly. We're not in at a cross. We're well in after. I think there's better entries to be found. But that being said, I mean, like when we zoom out, there's still lots of space to go, but I think we can find better entries. That'll be easier to get these 20 percentages in less time, I think.
I think one of the things I noted that we're on a retracement on the 4-hour.
Oh, it definitely was when you were here. Yeah. And now it's kind of consolidating.
It's amazing what a few hours will do, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we can find better entries out there. What was your other one you said? Sorry.
Well, I said Pepe coin, but you didn't want to dive into that one, which I understand. And there was put Filecoin in here with a question mark. I'm not sure why I did that, and ApeCoin as well.
I had a few people ask me about Filecoin and DMs, so let's have a quick look.
That's probably, look at that. That's why it's a question mark on mine.
Yeah, this goes back to where I said right now, I think with all the hype, the fear, and the greed, people might be trying to keep chasing hopium where I think we're going to see some entries. I don't enter longs near the top of curves. I enter longs near the bottom of bellies. Now, that being said, as you know, I love this coin. We've talked about it. We did entries on it. We made a lot of money on this coin already. It's time. Here's right there. And that I think is about the time since we covered it. Yeah. It's time when we look that we're going to get some opportunities coming here. And it already looks, and it's only Monday. I'm really curious to watch what the next, it's not breaking back into. The last time we talked about this, it had to stay in this box. I remember we talked about this now. Well, it didn't, clearly, but it makes sense. So much momentum, profits. Now it's consolidating. Can it hold in here? That's tough when we're talking about market sentiment right now. Oh, starting to get leggy. When we've had all this up. Spidey sense isn't just rationale. I want to jump in so many things right now, but this makes sense. A little bit of pullback, a little bit of consolidation, and then go. That's healthy. And when this pulls back a little, and this goes up a lot, the rest of this stuff punishes. And we talked about last week with a tweet of Becker saying, if you haven't been in in these kind of situations before, you know, a 40% to 65% wipe off of the value of the altcoin that you're in is normal in a bull market. So you can think you're up unrealized gains, all the money in the world. You can go to bed and wake up and you can be less than what you're in or break even for a whole lot of time. Welcome to crypto, I think is what he said. And that's kind of part of it. We need to hold this line for Filecoin, this weekly. And it's trying. So for me on the 4 hour, I'd be watching. I mean, there's 8 minutes and 30 seconds left on this candle. And if we go to our, on the 4 hour, on the 8 minutes, 30 minutes on this candle or whatever it is now, what's that looking like we're going to do when we zoom in? I'm going to sit here. I mean, at home, I probably would sit here and, you know, it's tough to say. And this is where you don't force those trades and you wait for more information. You get the patience because it might give you a better entry, or you take an entry here, you do a limit buy entry down here where you think those next steps down might actually get to. And then you dollar cost your entry on your hopes. The leg is amazing to get. Oh, it's because I'm on 4 hour, my bad. Into here, and then this area that jumps. This is a tough one. And all this one is patience and time because it's exciting. That's a big jump from where we are. And if you don't want to miss it, you just watch and you monitor because that's 35%. And we know when there's these big spaces that there's not lots of support and resistance. So it typically does these bigger spaces fast. We also know it's harder to break resistance of a weekly support and resistance consolidation area. We haven't been able to break it yet. Makes sense since we've tried twice not being able to break it. We're going to pull back and try again. Or how much money is going to enter the market? It's going to rocket. Just like we were saying about Bitcoin the other day. So for right now, I am looking at a lot of patience unless it's a long-term hold. And you're finding some good entries. Now is about the hunt. It's finding where these bellies are, like this Canto. That's a great one.
This is why Canto was my, because obviously it's not like right now consolidation retracement on the 4 hour, but I've got that belly on the weekly, which is appealing to me because I never been able to like get in on the belly because I've always waited for the cross just because, you know, I'm new. So I feel like it's just there's confluence over these timelines to make me feel comfortable with it. And America said she got stop loss in half my position yesterday for a 23.7% win.
Love hearing it.
Nice
Love
work.
hearing.
Nice work.
Big fan of when that kind of thing happens. We're getting down to the hour. My brain is fried. I've been looking at the screen all day. And I would like to congratulate the Crypto Katie. She broke her previous record, 12 days. We have been holding each accountable. The FOMO of me wanting to jump in with some of the dry powder or cash on hand on the sidelines I have to wait to analyze has been killing me. But I've been here enough that I know if it's Murphy's Law, as soon as I dump everything in and I'm off to the races is when the market does, oh yeah, it's been off for ages the last little bit. We're going to have a little retracement. And now I'm down 20%. So I'd rather risk losing that 5% over the next day or two to see what's going on personally to find out. So if you're in a similar position to me, some long-term holds, cash on the sidelines, These are the days that kind of suck because there's a lot of like, but these are the days that are great for DYOR. Get out there, look, find these bellies. Crypto Katie found 4 of them today. We just went through a couple. It was great to see. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely the waiting game right now, I feel. It's just double checking those things and seeing what the market cap does. So I'm excited that we're all going to be following the market cap over the next few days together.
And as we know, can happen in a moment's notice. This is not me saying get out of the market yet either. There's a lot of indicators saying we've got lots of legs to run. I mean, very bullish long term. We got a long way to go. But there has been that whole the halvings coming, green candles everywhere, all-time highs of uncharted precatory. I mean, something's going to happen. I'm going to eat my popcorn on the sidelines and watch. That's it for me. My mouth is dry. I've talked for about an hour. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you for showing up. Crypto Katie, anything?
Well, I have to tell you, I'm glad that you're saying you're waiting, because sometimes I get that itch to get in there because I haven't done anything in a little bit. So, and my one of my long-term holds is up, I think 78%, I think, since I put money on it about a month ago. So, it's still happening. It's just not that active in and out all the time, which is kind of what I want. But, patience. And if you're being patient, then hell yeah, I'm going to be a little bit patient too. So.
And I'm looking for those W's. And if you're finding these W's and you're in our Discord, share them. And as soon as I find them, I will. And what I mean by W's is not the wins. I mean, I'm looking for the wins, let's be honest, but I'm looking for that up and down in the price action on the shorter time frame where we're just bouncing in those consolidation rectangles. Get it in, get it out, get it in, get it out. I'm not finding a ton of those where I feel confident to get in with some bigger numbers for those yet because of where our market is at. When we find them, it's going to be a blast. As you know, whole lot of work just to get to this point right now here. So, yeah, that's it for me. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Okay. Number 40. Let's do 41 tomorrow.
Oh, my God. It was 40.
Thanks, Pope.
That's crazy. 40 shows.
Pope.